Hello folks, we are excited to introduce to you the 12 Hooves of Christmas 2022. In this series we see some tremendous recoveries as well as some old friends from the last series. We bring you some words of encouragement and remember that Jesus is the real reason for this great season. In the first episode we bring you an old friend of the channel, Herbie. Herbie the Hereford turned out to be a very popular bull and was loved by our subscribers. Christmas is mostly a happy time, but could we ask you to remember this family who Herbie belongs to in your prayers this Christmas? Jeffrey and his family lost Norman as a result of a farm accident on the 23rd of December last year, the day after we posted Herbie's video. We pray they get strength and comfort this Christmas, 1 year on.
Hello folks, do any of you recognise this handsome chap I've got in the crush here? This is Herbie, aka Herbster. Last year in the 12 Hooves of Christmas, we brought you the recovery story of Herbie. Back then he had 3 out of his 4 feet rather sore. And while I'm washing these feet off, just take a look at Herbie's journey. Herbie's front left had a sore interdigital growth, which required a salicylic acid bandage for the dermatitis. Herbie's front right foot had quite a significant sole fracture up towards the white line area of that outer claw. That first day we put a block on, trimmed it out and put on a bandage. Herbie also needed a bandage on his back left as he had a small little patch of digi on his dew claw. So that was then, and this is now. So let's get a look at Herbie's hooves. He's a little bit light maybe on his back left, but we do keep a check on this animal to make sure we keep him comfortable as he does his job. So last time we seen Herbie, he had quite a big interdigital growth in this claw here. This is his front left. As you can see here, Herbie hasn't got a huge growth of hoof on this here. We've been keeping an eye on him. We trim him twice a year, so this is part of his maintenance program. He is a little bit light on his back left when we were putting him in, but that's all part of the maintenance to keep this bull as comfortable as we can, and as soon as there's any sign of any discomfort we get him checked out. I'm just relieving this area around here. Herbie has a little bit of bruising here, so I'm allowing this here to do the work. I'm not going to take anything off this heel, and it's going to just rest this a little bit. And again, if we hadn't have intervened, Herbie would have a sole ulcer here in a number of months. So by taking the pressure off this and intervening, we are preventing this big bull from going lame. The last time we seen Herbie, or the first time in the 12 Hooves of Christmas, he had a massive growth in there. He still has the growth, but it's no longer infected with dermatitis. So Herbie can step out comfortably on this foot, and it's good to get it checked. I'm just going to give it a little bit of Intracare gel on the growth, which is really going to be as good as a foot bath in knocking that bacteria back. This is like when the red sauce on the table's running out. You have to shake it. Should have probably left it upside down. There we go. Hope there's a new red sauce in the cupboard, because this one might not do. So that will just be as good as a foot bath. It will be very cleansing. 1 hoof down, 3 to go. And unfortunately I've just got 1 hoof washed and my little washer has decided to stop working. So let's just go for the old traditional good old douse of water over her to give her a good clean. When I'm doing bulls, I normally do the 2 front feet first. First time we seen this foot, I think we blocked the inner claw here because of this crack up here. So I had some bruising there, as you just seen. and that disappeared, which is another benefit of prevention. And this here would probably, I hope it's not too bad today, seem to be walking not too bad on this. So I'm going to trim this out, get the weight off it, and all being well, we've got this in time again. Although I would soon like to see the end of this, I think. Because I haven't touched this here, and I've just lowered this here, it will take a little bit of the pressure off this. And when an animal has been lame on a certain foot with a lesion, it is prone to it coming back again. So our job is not just to cure lameness, but it's also to prevent it. So each animal is different, and the likes of Herbie, we need to keep a special check on him, that these things don't come back. And that there is just coming out nicely. I will pressure test it just to satisfy myself that it's okay. Just going to give that a wee test. No flinching. No flinching there. So the last time we seen Herbie, or the first time this foot was lame, needed a block, so that's a good result. This is Herbie's back right foot. This is the only foot that Herbie has never had an issue with. So hopefully it just looks like a nice foot that's just ready for a trim. And again, Herbie has a bit of bruising there, but that's just down to the sheer weight of him. A little bit of bruising on that medial claw as well, but I'm just checking out around the heel for no issues. And I'm hoping a lot of this bruising will trim out, all being well. But if we're stuck, we will block this just to, as a preventative. There are some stress cracks here in the white line, but they're not leading anywhere up the side of the hoof, so we're all good there. They're not an issue. This bruising here, like the front left foot, it had bruising, but it wasn't soft. This is starting to get a little bit too soft for my liking, so I think we will probably put a little block on this just to rest it. It hasn't got to the stage where it's causing them any discomfort, but this is the best time to get these things before they actually happen. So I'm just going to test this inner claw. All's good, no flinching. So I'm going to put a little wooden block on this that's going to last around a month to give this bruising for Herbie a good rest. Nearly finished. And because this claw that I'm just after blocking is a tiny little bit bruised, this block will probably last 4 or 5 weeks. That might be a little bit too long for it to be overloaded. So I'm going to take a half of this block off. When the glue has set for its 90 seconds, I'm going to grind half of this off. So it's going to stay on Herbie for around 2 weeks. Just to give this a 2-week break, but also so that we don't overload this claw that we've just blocked. And this is the foot that Herbie, this is the final foot we need to trim. 3 out of 4 today has been pretty good, but I don't know if you can see this, Herbie has struggled a little bit with this dermatitis, but it's just up around the dew claw in underneath. So I'm going to have to maybe trim a little bit of this off, check out the extent of this. His hoof looks pretty sound, so actually I'm going to trim it first and then address this issue, because each time Herbie puts weight, it's transferring up through his ankle, as it would when any of us take a step. And if this little infected area is causing him any discomfort, that's probably where the lameness is coming from. So he has a little bit of bruising here. It's not as bad as the other side. So I think we'll get away with leaving this heel on this side. It should be fine. Just check out around this heel. A few little areas there needs cleaned out. But there is a little, what you would think is a double sole here, but I think it's just the formation and the way the hoof has grown. I will pressure test this because I don't want to take it off unnecessarily, because he needs it to walk on to keep him off this. So this is not the result that I was expecting or hoping for with Herbie on this back left foot. The only good thing is it's his only lame foot today, so we have made progress, but I'm going to have to investigate this toe a little bit further, and probably, if this outer claw is up to it, put a block on. Herbie is showing a little bit of discomfort, so it could be more than this infection in the dew claw up here. It could be. Seems to be in the toe as well. And the more I investigate this, the more I see that we're going to have to put something on this here. So thankfully that's nice and steady. It's okay to block. So that's the next step in this trim. I'll clean that off and put another wooden block on. Just while that glue's setting, I'm just going to investigate this bit a little bit further, clean it out and deal with this infection before we just strip away this. So I don't really think there's any of these dew claws. They're actually quite small as it is. But I'm just going to check in underneath this to make sure the dermatitis hasn't went down in there. Below it, so that looks pretty clean in there. That's okay. So the only point of infection is basically this little circle here, so that should be easy enough to fix. Clean that off. It's a bit of manure stuck to that one, but this one here looks like it's all hoof or all dew claw. I don't want to cut this off with the grinder because the vibration going through this would be quite sore for Herbie. So I'm just going to clean around the edge of this here. Make sure it's not dragging into him. And it just shows you with this here, we keep an eye on Herbie twice a year. He's obviously hurt himself or slipped, or the nature of what bulls do is obviously going to be hard enough on their feet, but he's maybe slipped coming off a cow, or maybe another girl that he had an interest in tried to get away from him and he maybe slipped trying to run after her or something like that. All us men make these mistakes running after women, but sometimes it can end up hurting us. It's not right, Herbie. I'm just cleaning this out. I'm gonna wrap this up. Obviously I need to wrap the dew claw anyway, but I'm just cleaning, making this nice and smooth around it, so when the bandage comes off, any dirt or debris can just get out of this. There's a little bit of dermatitis in here too, so it would be getting wrapped for that reason anyway. Just as I had the salicylic acid on the toe, I almost forgot to dry this bit off. So dry that, dab that dry, be as gentle as we can, and get a nice bit of salicylic on this to dry it out. So Herbie today is getting a 2-in-1 bandage, some for this dermatitis and some for his sore toe. And that's the beauty about that product, it doesn't just fall off, especially when it needs to go into 2 places. So to put Herbie's bandage a little bit up his ankle, because he's such thick legs as well, it's probably going to take a full roll to get a nice bit of coverage on that. And that's what happens when Herbie goes walkabouts. He wasn't really supposed to go in through that gate, but he's nifty on his feet now and he thinks he can go anywhere. I've just got one of Herbie's girlfriends in the crush now to continue this trim session at this farm, but thanks for tuning in to that little check-up of Herbie. Last time, as I said through the video, he was lame on 3 of his feet and one of them was sound. Now it's the other way around, he's only a little bit uncomfortable on one of them, but he walked off there lovely. We got that issue in the toe before. It was a really bad issue, and Herbie is all set to enjoy another Christmas and hopefully another year with his ladies. Take care folks, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
I hope you enjoyed that little follow-up trim of Herbie the Hereford. I'm sure it's not the last we'll see of Herbie on this channel. See you all tomorrow, where we treat a pretty nasty infection in a cow's foot.